My name is Matthew.
Alright, this is Matthew, guys! Matthew! Alright, so I'm going to give you each a chance to talk and each a chance to share something. But Matthew, why don't you share in the beginning just by telling me the postcode of the property and how you found this property.
Okay.
So is this the house here, guys? You look at what the big screens, is it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a little look at it. So, it looks like this might be going to auction.
There's an offer.
It's under offer.
Yeah.
It's got an offer of 42.
45. 45 to 46. Let's give it.
There's an offer. Okay. So it also looks like it needs quite a lot of work. So Matthew, talk to me about how you worked out the ROI. Like, how much did you budget for the refurb?
So disclosure, Callum's a builder.
Who's Callum? Alright, pass the mic to Callum then. So Callum, tell these guys how much you quoted for this. I mean, look, there's like rendering missing. There's also, you're going to need like full carpeting paint. Look at the stairs, don't even look right. They look like they're about to fall down. It looks like it needs a new kitchen. So talk to me, Callum, where are you from and how much you talking?
We did agree that it would cost £2 for the refurbishment, but I said I thought it'd be a lot more. So we put that into there. When it came to 35 ROI, we thought a little bit.
£2 grand.
I think it's going to cost you £2 grand, maybe for the paint and carpets.
Yeah.
But I mean, surely you're going to need a new bathroom, rendering. What's happening now? I mean, what's the lesson?
To calculate it correctly first.
How many of you realise that sometimes it's very easy to underestimate a refurb? Let's pass the mic back to Matthew a second. Matthew, what do you make of the fact that it's like this whole date of notice, there's offers on it? I mean, what are you thinking, Matthew? What's happening?
To be fair, it took us a while to get logged in. We're in about 7 minutes to go through this.
Yeah.
So we didn't actually notice that we passed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, okay, that's okay.
What we're doing is we're offering a lower price because of the state of the property.
Yeah.
So we're offering 37.5.
Right, sure, but it's saying here that there's already been an offer of 42.
Yeah, we didn't notice that.
Listen, this property, it may be a decent deal, it might be a good deal, and also, how many of you think that, like, time-wise, you guys didn't have a lot of time, yes or no? Yeah. You know, but, what's the lesson, Matthew?
Don't rush.
What's the lesson?
Yeah, we just need to put time into the analysis. It's going to be
Sure. How many realise that you might need to take a little bit of time into the analysis session? Yes or no, guys? Yeah. All right, good. Pass the mic over to
Sarah.
Sarah. Hey, Sarah. So, Sarah, this property itself, it looks like it needs a lot of work. It's got offers on it. It might not be quite as good as you thought. I'm not saying it's a terrible house. But 35% ROI didn't factor in refurbs, didn't factor in the fact that there's already an offer over the asking price on the table. So, what was the main lesson throughout this exercise that you got?
That being an eternal optimist might not be enough.
Yes. How many of you realise that when you're doing deals, you've got to sometimes look at the worst case scenario and be conservative? Yes or no, guys?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, first thing I want to say is I actually think that this deal might be decent, because even if you got it for 43 grand,
Yeah.
and you spend £5 grand refurbing it, it's still going to probably give you over 20% ROI. Still a good deal. So I think you smashed it. However, I think you're a little bit optimistic and rushed in time. However, amazing job. Should we show these guys some love when they take their six? An offer on the table already. So I'm not 100% about this voluntary house. Jacob? It should have gone to auction, but it hasn't. So is it available?
Yes.
What's the return on investment?
29%.
Where is it?
It is in Walsall.
It's in Walsall. Oh, these ladies are very excited. You made a couple of friends straight away. We're saying Walsall. All right. So what road is it in?
Well, to be honest, if you're interested in Walsall property, it might lead up to these guys.
Hold on. Get them on the table.
He's trying to sell the deal.
I said, I mean, if these ladies seem quite interested, so maybe £100 isn't enough for this deal, you never know.
Ouch. You guys hear what he just said? He just said.
Some bills for like 3-4 grand, that's what you said, isn't it?
So what he said, this is what Jacob's saying. Jacob's saying the winner of this competition is going to have the opportunity to win a £100 prize from me, cash each, right? And he's saying, well, I think my deal's maybe worth more than that. I'm saying, I'm saying, well, why don't we have a look at the deal and find out? Kirsty. So Kirsty, have you got the postcode? Yeah.
1DP.
1DP.
Bridge Street.
Bridge Street, I know it. I've got a lot of houses, well, a lot of apartments in Bridge Street. I own number 16 and number 15 Tudor House, Bridge Street. So I know it well. Oh, wow. Okay, so is this the one?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah. But it's tenants at 375.
Hold on, did you speak to the agent?
Yeah.
So hold on. This went on auction for 45 grand and it didn't sell at auction, is that correct?
That's the one.
Wow. That's very interesting. I just sold 2 properties in that exact block for £60,000 last year. In that block, number 15, you can check it out, you can get the title deeds. Number 15, number 16, Tudor House, Bridge Street. I sold them both for 60 grand. They're on auction for 45. This one, this one does need a little bit of, not even work. It's more just a messy tenant. So pitch it then, Jacob.
All right, so it's on for it's on for 45,000. The current tenant's been in there for a little while. His tenant's at 375, but there is scope for improvement.
My tenant was paying 425 in that block.
Yeah.
So he didn't sell at auction. So how much did that want?
To be honest, I didn't ask that. I should have asked. But I'm assuming that if it didn't sell when it's listed.
Right. Well, why don't you ring them up right now and ask them?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's find out. Again, what is on the phone? Super quiet. Super quiet. What's on the phone? Find out how much, if you were to buy cash tomorrow, got the cash,
Property auctions. Please
how much would
choose
they
one of
accept?
the following
Three
three options.
45.
For property sales. Good afternoon, let's do.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, I'm just looking at the property you've got listed on Rightmove. Interested to find out a bit more information, please.
Okay, what's the property address?
It's Bridge Street Chambers. It's one of the flats that you've got for 45,000.
Is it an auction property or is it a
It's auction
sale?
property.
Okay. I will have to check with my colleague. So, what was the property address, did you say, sorry?
Bridge Street Chambers.
Bridge Street.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I take your name and number, and I will get my colleague to give you a call back, if that's okay?
Yeah, so it's Jacob Watson.
Okay.
01902 214
902 214, yeah.
040.
040. I'll get my colleague to give you a call.
Thank you very much.
Jacob. Thank you.
Good job. So however, you said that it didn't sell at auction. Is that, how did you find that out? Did you speak to them already, or how did you find that out?
Well, to be honest,
Hold the mic so you can go to your
okay.
mouth.
So this is well, I've looked at these properties before. I know
Yeah.
I haven't sold because I've spoken to the vendor themselves like both times since the 30th.
Okay. Oh, right, fair enough. Fair enough. So, this property went on auction for 45 grand. You spoke to the owner last week,
Yes.
and the owner
Not
said,
the owner, the tenant agent. So the person who's probably going to give me a call back. Is
Oh, okay.
likely the person.
but the agent said that it didn't sell.
Yes.
Okay. So at the moment, they'll probably accept 45 cash for that property. Would you agree, guys?
Yeah.
They'll probably accept 45 cash. It's probably worth 60. I don't know. I know that because I know the block. I don't know why it didn't sell. That's interesting. It might need a few £100, rent 400. The ROI on that's going to be very high. There is, because it's a leasehold property, there is a small ground rent service charge every year. From memory, I think it's about £600. I like that apartment. All right, here's what I'm thinking, guys. You were a team. You were a team. Now, that Walsall flat is a good opportunity. Went to auction, didn't sell. However, it's a good opportunity. It's not a deal. Okay? You're right, Jacob. You can sell deals for 3 to 4 grand. But a deal is when you've got a firmed, wrapped up sale price. You haven't got that, Jacob. You've just got an opportunity. Is that fair? However, it's a hot lead, it's a lead I like, and it's on my turf, it's in Walsall. So here's what I'm going to say. You've got two options. Option number one is you can try and turn together. You can work together on this. You guys are a crew. You can try and work together on that lead and speak to the agent, wait for him to call you back, and try and secure it and try and sell it yourself. And either you can keep it, Jacob, do your thing, or the three of you can team up, whatever you want. That's option number one. Or option number two is as you worked as a team and you were together, I am prepared to give you £100 cash each for your team efforts and finding the lead. And then, hold on. If you take the money though, here's what's going to happen. Then I will take over this little conversation with the agent. It becomes my lead. Okay? So, hold on guys. Now, with it being a little bit messy, a little bit complicated, because there's three of them. Jacob found the deal, they kind of work together. Do they sell it, do they keep it, or do they take the money? Would it be fair to give them an opportunity to have a team meeting, yes or no? Yeah. So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to have a team meeting to discuss what you want to do. So I'm going to give you a total to decide. And if you don't, because after the team meeting, by the way, if you're like, oh, actually, we're still undecided, guess what? I'm going to keep the money, and I'll keep the deal. How many reals you need to make quick decisions in business, yes or no? Yeah. Is that fair, guys? Yeah. So your team meeting, I'm going to give you a total of 15 seconds. And your team meeting starts now. Would you take the money or would you keep the lead? What would you do? What do you reckon? Money or lead? What are you thinking? Alright, so we're going to have a drum roll, and after the drum roll, they're going to announce what they want to do. I'm going to let Jacob announce. So ready, and drum roll, please. Drum roll. Alright, what are you going to do?
I'm going to take the money.
You're going to take the money! Give them a hand!
Because there's no guarantee that the property will turn into a deal.
Absolutely.
So having this money up front is money up front.
Fair enough. So in that case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's £100. That's for you, Jacob. Congratulations. Also, as well. Oh, you dropped 20. I'll keep that bit. There you go. We also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another £100. There you go, Kirsty. Well done, Kirsty. Well done. And then finally, the last £100. Jacob, well deserved, my brother. Good to see you.
Okay, so my name is Jacob Watson. I came back to the crash course after not being here. I haven't been here for 2.5 years. Just to be honest, I come today just to find some clients, network, see if I can build up my network myself. And they had a deal sourcing challenge, and luckily, I used to work for Samuel Leeds, so I do crew for Samuel Leeds, so deal sourcing, and James Armstrong, shout out James Armstrong. Deal sourcing is my bread and butter, so in this deal sourcing challenge, stuck it on us to find a deal. So it was an auction property that's just gone back on the market because we didn't sell at auction, so it's motivated seller, it's a proper winner for anybody involved. And Samuel Leeds came and said, okay, so would you like £300 for the deal right now, or would you like to go away, take it away, sort of stack it and package it? I said I'll take the money right now. That's for one reason. I already saw stack and package deals, and I've got a bunch of deals. Check out Renting Property. We've got a number of deals, come here with a number of deals, so I thought, you know what, the one thing I can do is maybe show that it's a good deal anyway. So Samuel took the deal off us. He essentially said, this is a good deal, this is why I'm interested in it, named off the things, the fact that it's a motivated seller, it's an auction property that didn't go to auction. He in fact said it's a block of flats, or within a block, that he owns all the properties, and it was listed at less than the properties that he owns, so already it's below market value. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to kind of piggyback on the energy that Samuel Leeds brings, and hopefully find some new clients. So if yourself are looking for properties in and around the West Midlands, Wolverhampton, Dudley, Walsall, Birmingham, Smethwick, anywhere like that, check out rentingproperty.co.uk and give me a call. On a serious note, since my first crash, because I came to the first crash course when I first came to the crash course, it was a weird. So I actually had a heart problem, and I had just dropped out of university, so I was in a bit of a weird place. And I ended up working for Samuel Leeds, and I ended up saying to Alistair, actually, I ended up saying, can I just work for you guys for a while? I'm a smart enough guy. I work hard. This is all I kind of try to, the elevator pitch. You try and name all the stuff that you're good at. Oh, I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll do this. And then boom, boom, boom. Fast forward all these years later, and you know what? Aside from money, the biggest thing that I'm grateful about is and this is serious stuff, is the mind state change, because I had my circles weren't entrepreneurial. Let's put it that way. My circles weren't. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And coming here, it opens your eyes, man. It opens your eyes, because in a weird way, for me, I was raised to believe that it's either, you go university or you just don't exist in the world, basically. My parents were like, you go university, go this, go that. So when I left, it was a big old kind of mental barrier to get over. And coming to Samuel Leeds, and you know it's weird, because I'm anti the sales part, honestly, but I don't like it. I don't like doing all the big up things, but now I came here, and the people here, Elliot, Spencer, amazing guy, James Armstrong, Alistair, all of those guys, they just make such a good environment to be in that it was infectious, and I guess it infected the rest of my life.